He's flying, boys. We're back. I didn't even look at the episode number. I think we're on 38 or 39. I don't know what I'm going to title this because we have decided to make the return hiatus, the return odyssey from our hiatus on YouTube.
They can't get rid of us.
We decided that we created this stupid little program.
Is it a podcast?
More so a bitch session that we record. But we decided to start it, two and a half years ago now? Yep. Just as kind of a little passion project, a little stupid thing for the two of us to do. We've tried to improve in what ways we can on the way over the course of the time we've been doing it. And obviously we kind of got a little butthurt when YouTube decided to flag us for misinformation, even though we were reading directly from a cited source. And we made the exodus to Rumble, which we thought would be a better platform for free speech and whatnot. And we do like Rumble. It's just not getting the reach that we want it to. The whole point of this is we want to get information out to as widespread audience as we can. And unfortunately, the avenues that we've been using, like TikTok, we've been making shorts. We've been putting shorts on YouTube. Those channels are reaching people, and Rumble just wasn't. And Rumble is where our main episodes were. And the whole thing with shorts is we want you to come view the entire episode and consume the actual episode of the Bunker Hill Boys. So you can hear everything that we have to say, no matter how ridiculous it is. We're going to start posting, I think, solely to YouTube. We're going to see. We'll see what we're looking with here. But again, TikTok Shorts, that's at Bunker Hill. It's at Bunker Hill Boys Podcast, right?
Yes.
It's Bunker Hill Boys Podcast. Bunker Hill Boys Podcast on YouTube. It's consistent across the board. TikTok has the YouTube channel in the description. We're going to be breaking up the release schedule a little bit. We're going to have we're still going to be doing the 2 weeks, except we're going to break it up a little bit to where we're going to have the news, and then we're going to have a historical piece, and then, smaller content to consume within that. But yeah, that's been something that Andrew and I discussed, and it's something that we feel more comfortable with moving forward as far as to try to get the message or shenanigans or entertainment, whatever the hell you want to call it, out to a wider spread audience. So yeah, that's what we're going to do moving forward. Anyways, welcome to the hopefully more improved, more streamlined, more consistent Bunker Hill Boys. Happy to have you. So
it's the golden era.
It's the golden era. Golden era. Great. Love him. Golden era. This is my Elon. Have you seen that meme where it showed Trump and he was at I think it was the Special Olympics, and he was like praising the little boy with Down syndrome, and the little boy was like all happy and stuff, and Trump, maybe it was a grown man, I don't know, and Trump was like, and then all of a sudden it shows, it cuts forward, and it shows him doing the same thing. It shows him, not that one, and it shows him, it goes from the boy, and it morphs into Elon, and it's like he's the boy that grew up, and he's treating, like patting him on the back and stuff, like, it's my boy, he grew up. Oh yeah, that's ridiculous. Oh, man. Anyways, all right. We got a lot of news to get into. First and foremost, we're doing a little research, see what's been going on. CBS News, first article of the evening. Illegal crossings at U.S.-Mexico border down 94% from last year. Let's get this pulled up. So this is from CBS News. So the Border Patrol Chief Mike Banks told CBS in the first time sit down that it's down 94% over the past 7 days. Border Patrol agents apprehended an average of 285 migrants a day, roughly compared to 4,800 during the same time last year. He said down here that the greater the punishment, the larger the deterrent. So it's crazy that it's almost like if you have actual consequences for people doing something illegal in your country, that you might actually have solutions.
It's pretty simple, actually. And the consequences were already set in stone into law. The only difference is Trump is doing away with incentivizing illegal immigration, which the previous administration did so well.
Yep.
And if you recall, the previous administration blamed the border crisis on Congress, specifically the Republicans in Congress, for not passing the border bill. Trump is successfully reaching these numbers at the border without Congress. He's doing this himself.
Yep. He said right here, you do not cross the border illegally and then make an asylum claim. You go through the port of entry, or you can go to one of the embassies in your country and make a claim for asylum. Let's see. In fact, in December, the Biden administration's last full month in office, Border Patrol recorded 47,000 migrant apprehensions, down 81% from 2023. That number dipped to just over 29,000 last month. So it's already almost cut in half. Again, that's crazy. It's almost like they also were on record for enacting tougher border security right before the election started. Let's not forget about that. Let's not forget that, what was it? 3 months before the election, I think? It was like a month or two after Kamala announced she was going to be on the ticket, that they said that they're going to be hiking up the border security. It's like, oh, wow, if only you did that 3 years ago.
They even talked about building a wall.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they said they were going to start working on the wall. For anyone that is curious, also, just to add a little fun tidbit here, the 60 Minutes that was playing in the corner, Mitch McConnell announced that he will be retiring. So old Turtle Man's going in his shell. Let's see.
About damn time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of wild that he's been out here as long as he has. Okay, going on to the next one. So, let's see, from Routers. IRS fires 6,000 employees. Excuse me. IRS fires 6,000 employees as Trump slashes U.S. government. So, this is from today. A tearful executive at the U.S. IRS told staffers Thursday that 6,000 employees would be fired. Oh no, not the tax man. The tax man's getting fired. The cuts are part of Trump's sweeping downsizing effort that has targeted bank regulators, forest workers, rocket scientists, and tens of thousands of other government employees. The effort is led by Musk. Musk was on the stage of the Conservative Political Action Conference in National Harbor, Maryland, yada, yada, yada. The chainsaw joke. Chainsaw for bureaucracy, Monk said. Christy Armstrong, the director of talent acquisition, teared up as she told her employees on a phone call that about 6,000 of their colleagues would be laid off and encouraged them to support each other. She was pretty emotional. Excuse me. The layoffs are expected to total 6,700, according to a person familiar with the matter, and largely target workers at the agency hired as part of the expansion under the Democratic President Joe Biden. Oh, government bloat. Who'd have thunk? Who sought to expand enforcement efforts on wealthy taxpayers. Republicans have opposed the expansion, arguing that it would lead to harassment of ordinary Americans. The tax agency now employs roughly 100,000 people compared to 80,000 before Biden took office in 2021. They hired 20,000 new people.
You're fired.
20,000 new people. What do you need? What do you need a fifth of your base expanded for? Like, what are you doing with that? Oh, making sure that the that the higher ups pay their. You need 20,000 people for that. That's kind of nuts. I don't know. I find that's kind of nuts. Yeah, we're gonna see a trend of this happening. I think where these government agencies and different facets, outlets, whatever you want to call it, of government power that are kind of bloated, that are going to be discovered by Doge, that are going to have funds that have been mishandled. You're going to start seeing more and more of them kind of collapsing on themselves, and it's going to be interesting to see what this is going to look like from the other side, because it really does seem like they're turning in a lot of fat right now. Let's see. So another big piece of news to come out was that not Kush, but Kash Patel is confirmed to be the FBI director by the Senate, despite deep Democratic doubts. Oh, because he said he's made what was it that he said? He made comments saying that he wants to like gut it, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it. He's America first.
Right. Which wouldn't you want that for the FBI?
He criticized the political attacks on Trump by the FBI. Russia
As
Gate.
one should.
Yep.
Because, I don't think the FBI, left or right, should have any influence over political candidates.
And here's my thing.
Especially the Kennedys.
If the FBI now were to investigate things like insider trading in Congress, and Democrats end up being guilty of that, that's not political revenge if it's true.
Right.
It's justice.
It is. It's accountability. So Thursday, the Senate on Thursday narrowly voted to confirm Kash as the director of the FBI, moving him atop the nation's premier federal law enforcement agency, despite doubts from Democrats about his qualifications and concerns that he will do Trump's bidding. I cannot imagine a worse choice, Senator Dick Durbin told colleagues before that was close, 51-49 vote by the GOP-controlled Senate. Man, that was close. 2 votes. Well, actually, 1 vote confirmed him. Senator Susan Collins of Maine and Lisa Murkowski of Alaska were the lone Republican holdouts. He's a loyalist that is deeply criticized or fiercely criticized the agency's led. Says that he's inheriting an FBI gripped by turmoil, as many senior officials were just ousted. He's echoed Trump's stated desire for reprisal, raising alarm among Democrats, saying he would come after anti-Trump conspirators, all in quotes. Let's see, and he's got a quote that he said. Where is it? Who's this by? He said he was honored to be confirmed. The American people deserve an FBI that's transparent, accountable, and committed to justice. The politicalization of the system that has eroded public trust. But that ends today. He said his mission as director was to let good cops be good cops and rebuild the trust of the FBI. Yeah. So he wants to make the FBI accountable. Yeah. So good stuff there. From what I hear, it sounds like the guy really does want to just get the FBI back to a law enforcement agency that is actually, there to serve, protect, and serve, and properly follow the guidelines and the rule of law when it comes to the United States and the law and the actions of law enforcement officers. So hopefully he'll be able to do that, and hopefully there won't be any political retaliation, because if there is, that also needs to be held accountable, because that's not cool either. That is not something that I support. That is not something that I think anyone should support. But from what it sounds like, I don't think he would go out of his way to do it. But we'll see. That's just my opinion based on what I know of the guy.
So through Kash Patel and Pete Hegseth's leadership and the Department of Defense, I can't wait to start seeing them get rid of demonizing nationalism, patriotism.
Mm-hmm.
You know, remember we covered this? The join or die flag is considered a symbol of extremism.
Yep. Oh, yeah. And just complete and utter bastardization of historical marks. I saw a video a long while back that was talking about different extremist groups throughout the years that have taken and misappropriated symbols and whatnot. And it was like a list of like 50 different symbols that different groups throughout the years have taken and misappropriated. And it's nuts. It's like these people are taking these symbols that mean like peace or love or freedom or whatever, and they're just turning it into these like heinous calls to whatever, you know? And it's like, I wish that our country stopped doing that to our history and our honor and our legacy. And like, yeah, obviously there's stains throughout it, but that doesn't mean that, you know, these are icons of what make us us, you know? It's like, do I think that a white hood and a red cross is a horrible thing? Yeah, that's an absolutely horrible thing. Do I think the Gadsden flag is at the same level? No, I don't, because I think the Gadsden flag represents patriots. I think the other thing represents hate. And I don't support hate. I support patriotism. Like, I don't even think the two things are in the same conversation. I don't see how they could be.
It's common sense.
Yeah.
I think we're moving back to common sense politics.
Right. It's like, I think it has to do, you know, we've been talking about the Bible a lot recently, and I think that it has to do a lot with the Bible, and you can apply it to this too, where it's like intent and context. What was the intention? What is the context? You know?
Anyone that respects history or learning history knows in order to understand anything, you have to respect historical context. That goes for any kind of history, and including the Bible.
Yep.
It is so unfair to judge historical events with a modern lens. It's just inaccurate.
It just doesn't even make sense. You can't do that and then properly give it due diligence. You just can't.
Right.
Also, I don't know if we talked about this. I don't know if you saw it either. Did you see that the forts got renamed to their original names?
Yes, I did.
About damn time.
Winning.
All right. Let's see. So looks like to wrap up this week with the news. This one's kind of big. NPR Radio.
Yes. Welcome to NPR.
Reversing U.S. policy. Trump attacks Zelensky with two eyes. Blames Ukraine for the war with Russia. Washington and Kiev. I will call it Kiev. I will not call it Kyiv. They recently changed that. When I say recently, when we're talking about the regards to history. For the past 3 years, the U.S. has been Ukraine's leading supporter in its war with Russia. Gotta love these fucking puppet wars. Yet with a series of blunt comments, President Trump is now sounding more aligned with Russia than Ukraine. Oh, he's Putin's puppet. He's Putin's puppet. He's a Russian agent. Russian gate. Trump, writing on social media, used the strongest language to date in describing Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, a dictator without elections. Zelensky better move fast, or he's not going to have a country left.
Democracy. There's no democracy in Ukraine.
The context for this is in 2024, martial law was declared, and it ceased elections. I don't know if anybody knew that. Did you know that?
Yeah, and not only that, but they're being arrested. Ukrainian citizens are being arrested for any kind of statements online or in public that is considered pro-Russian. And they completely they outlawed the Russian Orthodox churches in Ukraine as well.
Let me look this up really quick. Yeah. Let's see. Send me a link for that. I can't find it right now.
Okay.
I know that there's been a lot happening as far as that goes. Again, there is the angle to understand that in war, propaganda needs to be at the forefront, but also when you aren't allowing your people to have a say in the direction of the country, even during war, at least somewhat, there's an issue. So let's see here. During a presidential campaign, Trump made it clear that his desire to negotiate a ceasefire, but his rapid-fire developments in the recent days may have taken many aback. Capital city of Kiev. A lawyer said Trump is acting like he owns Ukraine. Okay. Who cares who that is? Alina Tokavenko.
Sources in the studio chat.
Thank you, sir. Who cares who that is? Maybe Trump can tell us who to elect and maybe offer his own candidate. Maybe, though, we should not ask Trump, but Putin what to do. Yeah, well, clearly this is not him at all saying, oh, yeah, this is, this is something that, we want Putin to handle. This is just a blatant call out for mismanagement.
Not only did Zelensky cancel elections and democracy, but also refused any talks with Putin to end the war. Anytime there were talks between Ukraine and Europe, NATO, the US about the war, guess who wasn't invited? The only other guy in the war.
The only other team in the war.
Yeah.
Hey, we're going to a peace summit, but not with people that we want peace with. No.
Not only did they do everything they can, the Biden administration and Zelensky, to start this war, they've also done everything they can since then to keep the war going.
Right. Now, and here we go. A lot of people, Russian figures say they're thrilled with Trump's approach, exceeding their hopes.
Of course.
If you told me that 3 months ago that the words of the U.S. president, I would have laughed out loud. Yeah, so this is just talking about all the people's takes on what he said. I more so wanted to see what he said. I don't know, man. I'm just tired of the damn war. I think that both sides at this point have overstepped immensely. Obviously, Russia started everything. Obviously, Ukraine had some maneuvering that Russia didn't like. Take that for what you will. But if you've seen pictures, if you've seen videos, if you know what's happening over there, millions of people have died by now. In 3 years, millions of people have died. That's absolutely insanity. I don't think any single person should die from here on out, regardless of what they have to do. I mean, obviously, they don't need to give up their sovereignty as a nation, and obviously, they shouldn't have to give up a bunch of land, and vice versa with Russia. But you think that some form of ceasefire would at least be on the table for both of them. You think that they both want it, because you're telling me that some random Russian boy wants to be a conscript, or some fucking Ukrainian boy comes of age and has to take up arms to defend his country when he doesn't even get to live through his childhood. This is ridiculous. It's absolutely asinine.
War's hell. Should avoid it all costs.
War is hell, but what the fuck is the point of this one? This one almost seems as stupid as World War I was.
Well, when you
where
see...
it was like, oh, it's just people fighting over egos.
When you see the amount of money that is missing...
$100 billion. They said 175, we get 75. Maybe. Who knows where 100 billion go? They give me money, the money go bye-bye. I have no idea.
Maybe there's some ulterior motive to this war that we don't know about.
Andrew, shut up and send him another 11 billion right now.
I'm a Russian agent.
Send him the money, bro. Yeah, it's ridiculous. I love that interview. Everyone's like, that's not what he meant. That's not what he meant. And he was like, this nation does 175 billion.
Man.
I get 75. Well, where's the other 100 billion? Fuck if I know. Ah, shit. Okay, so let's finish this episode just on this link, because we here at the Bunker Hill Boys podcast like to have sources when we say shit. And if we don't, we get called out on it, and then we make fun of each other the next day.
You just want to fact check me.
I do, but that's with purpose, because it makes us look more legitimate.
Right.
Because we are legitimate. We are running a legitimate operation here.
We have a
no,
podcast?
but for real, we don't want to just say shit without backing it up. The amount of bullshit that is spewed is just ridiculous. So here we go from the Record Media. Ukrainian
There's just one example of what I was talking about.
To 15 years in prison for spreading Russian propaganda. The suspect was a resident of Ukraine's central city of Poltava, head of a local nonprofit that promoted Kremlin ideology. He received more than $6,000 from Russian intelligence for creating over 60 social media posts in which he discredited Ukraine and its military and denied Russian attacks on Ukraine. No Russians here. You shoot yourself. All of the helicopters flying over, false flag. Earlier in April, the SBU identified another local supporter of the Kremlin who was sharing Russian propaganda on Ukrainian television before the war and later became a supporter of the invasion, allegedly collaborating with Russian intelligence. He also helped the Russian military blow up cellular towers, Ukrainian telecom operators, but this is talking about the other person.
Allegedly.
So, if they're traitors, they're traitors. I will say that. Our
Right.
country also has laws for traitors.
Solely for spreading propaganda, though.
But if they're spreading propaganda... Now, that being said, they did receive money from Russian intelligence. But if they're just sharing propaganda... I don't know. That's a weird one. I think that's a very... I think that the law would have to be scrutinized in that one. Because obviously, if they're a straight-up traitor, they're a traitor. But if you're just spreading things and getting arrested for it, I think it's a very blurred line there. But yeah, again, that's just another example of the many, many things that are going on with the war. Like you said earlier, war is hell. War is a nasty business. There's people on both sides that are trying to undermine the others, and the ones on both sides are trying to end the war for each other in a peaceful way. So we just hope and pray every day that, more lives will be spared.
And it's happening in Russia too. People are being arrested and
there was
and
mass
protesting.
protests that was arrest. Yeah, big.
See how quick the Russian police got on them?
Yeah. We can't sit here and be hypocrites, but also to sit here and say that one side is completely squeaky clean and the other side is the devil is also just false.
Right.
We gotta be, we gotta scrutinize both sides here. But yeah, I mean, again, we started talking about this in the fall of 2023, and here we are in the late winter, early spring of 2025 talking about it. It's still fucking going on.
Yep.
I think one of the first things we talked about was columns of Bradleys rolling in, and now we're talking about possible peace. So at least there's somewhat of a change of the tone. But anyways, yeah, that's what I got for the political stuff. You got anything that you want to finish with?
No.
Cool. All right, like I said, guys, we're back. We're back on YouTube, baby. We're trying to reach a wider audience. Hopefully, help some more people learn about some stuff. Maybe they'll like our takes. Maybe we'll get a lot of hate. We've already gotten some hate on TikTok. We've gotten a lot of love on TikTok. So
Only for you.
See. Only for me.
They love me. They don't like you.
Yeah, they don't like me. They say that what was it? The one that said
Your voice makes them want to bash their head.
Yeah, apparently I have a very a horrendous voice to listen to.
Leave him alone.
Sorry. Leave me alone. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Again, now I can say this: like, comment, subscribe. Everything helps, and we'll catch you in the next one.